Outside the Space Museum, there's a little garden of old rocket engines and propulsion equipment that we're going to take a closer look at now. This is an RL-10 engine, and it was the first operational liquid hydrogen, liquid oxygen, high energy restartable second stage rocket engine used in space. So a very historical piece of equipment here. This is an LR91-3 engine. It was a liquid propellant rocket engine used in the second stages of the Titan I intercontinental ballistic missiles and launch vehicles. This is the American Space Museum in Titusville, Florida. It was established in 1994. It's been at this location since about 2016. Let's go take a look inside and see what type of collections they have. It's a lot from the 1960s era space program at the JFK Space Center, which is located right next to Titusville, across the river. This is the Mercury Gemini Gallery. Some of the models of the Mercury Redstone rockets. This is a Mercury Atlas MA-1 hatch from an unmanned launch, July 29th, 1960. Before we start putting America started putting men into space. This is a high-speed movie camera that was used during the Mercury program in the 1960s. These are some radio telemetry devices used in the Mercury program. This is an orbital light that was originally used in the Mission Control Center. And this is a parachute used in the Gemini missions. Gemini 10, 11, and 12. A radio headset and a headrest from the Gemini simulator. And here's some astronaut water from the Gemini 9 and the manual. And this chart shows the respiration rates for the astronauts Wally Schirra and Tom Stafford during their launch on December 12, 1965. And some ancient relics here. Stapler remover. And this is what we used to call a rotary telephone, used at the Space Center in the 1960s. And this commemorates the Project Gemini and all of those who flew on these missions during the mid-1960s, 1965 to 1966. Commemorates all of the astronauts who flew in the Mercury program between 1961 and 1963, including Alan Shepard and John Glenn.
How are you today, young lady? You doing okay?
This is a XHS-9 spacesuit demonstrator. It says it was developed to test concepts for the new spacesuits. And this is the SPC Support Test Manager, dating back to the 1960s. And this is flight control stations from the 1960s. They were probably used throughout the 70s and maybe into the 80s. Playing videos right now.
Booster separation confirmed. Discovery's guidance is now converging as the shuttle's onboard computers fine-tune the flight. Its altitude 37 miles, downrange to the Kennedy Space Center 53 miles, with NASA's tracking satellites.
Discovery your single engine Zaragoza 104.
Two engines fill at this point, but the flight continues to go well. 6 minutes, 24 seconds into the flight, the shuttle traveling 9,000 feet.
This is a model of the orbiter processing facility.
1 minute, 50 seconds into the flight, we're standing by for separation of the twin solid rocket boosters. Discovery now traveling 2,695 miles an hour. Its altitude 24 miles.
And this is an orbiter door. So the entire exterior of the shuttle was composed of this material. So when you're looking at the outside of the shuttle, this is actually what you're seeing, and is very resistant to the heat and the cold that you get from a launch and in the outer space.
1/4-inch Nomex felt with a silicone coating.
And where does that fit into?
Actually, for each of the penetration holes on the
Okay.
blankets. But this is also the same material that we cover the wings and the payload bay door with.
Okay.
FRISI stands for Flexible Reusable Service Insulation.
Wow.
So we just pop
Fascinating.
it in.
I'm sorry.
And this is an amazing collection of electronic equipment from the launches of the 1960s, the Apollo program, possibly from the Gemini program. Talking about Atlas and Centaur, the reel-to-reel tapes. So some very fascinating objects in here. And we're entering the Space Workers Gallery. And some of the people who worked on the spacecraft and the outfits that they use. This is the clean room garments this person is using. This is a scape suit, self-contained atmospheric protective ensemble. Missing one boot, but outstanding artifact. And this is the fire proximity suit in cases where fires did break out. And it's a gas mask and a helmet, rocket fuel handler's clothing outfit helmet. This is a Russian KV-2 glove used by the Russian Sokol spacesuit. This is a window frame from the space shuttle. And this is the crew that was lost when the Space Shuttle Challenger exploded. This is a shuttle EMU suit pressure bladder. So without a toilet or urinal, this is what did the trick. These are shuttle astronaut flight garments. Very sexy. This sadly is the space shuttle crew that was lost when the Columbia exploded. And here we have some artifacts. This is a parachute release. And next to this is a compass that was used on one of the recovery vessels in the Atlantic Ocean. An external tank separation bolt and an I-beam. And this is a SRB hold down stud. They used 8 of these to hold the shuttle stack to the launch platform. This is a spherical bearing. This is the crawler transporter controls, and that's that really slow moving gigantic wheeled apparatus that moves the space shuttle and large rockets. This is used to control its movements. This is a launch entry suit. This is another launch entry suit. And a picture of some of the shuttle astronauts wearing launch entry suits. And the all-important pilot parachute. And some examples of astronaut food. Some delicious Rice Krispie treats, potato patties, apple drink, even Skittles, some of those special treats. This is a space shuttle water dispenser. This is a Skylab fit check helmet back from the 70s. Some famous handprints of the earliest astronauts, including Neil Armstrong, first landed on the moon. His Buzz Aldrin, who also was on the same mission with him. Bill Nelson, who eventually became a Florida senator. This is some oxygen air tubing. This is the Hubble Gallery, including Kathy Thornton's jumpsuit. The James Webb Space Telescope. This is an astronaut slide board. It was used to evacuate astronauts in case of emergency. And a model of the launch pad for space shuttle launches. And these are Space Shuttle Atlantis, Discovery, Endeavour, and these are signed by the astronauts who took part in those expeditions. And this is an example of one of the solar panel tiles, and it's inside a plastic bag. We're allowed to grab the bag, and this would have plated the outside of the space shuttle as well. This is a nose cone that was used at the tip of the solid rocket booster. And the Women of Space Gallery, which includes the handprints of Sally Ride, who was the first woman in space, first American woman in space, and Ellen Collins. She flew 4 space shuttle missions and was a commander of one of them. And Catherine Sullivan was the first American woman to perform an EVA. And this is a plaster cast of an astronaut spacesuit from the 1960s. And a mini spacesuit. In the gift shop we have an assortment of space ice cream. Many different flavors.